crowd just carrying on, bombarded left and right in stereo. One day this will all be over. Until then, I guess it is what it is. Allegedly doing things for a purpose. Sometimes a purpose ain't much more than an excuse to give. Don't blame me for what I see as I watch them burn the whole world down.
CJ, welcome to the podcast. How are things today?
Going great. I'm glad to be here. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I started listening to your tunes, man, ahead of this conversation, and I'm a big fan of your output so far as a songwriter. I really dig your just your approach, your perspective on how you come at songwriting, and you have some really great ideas in how you craft a song. So thank you for that.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So yeah, you're in Washington State.
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
I moved up here. What year is it now? About 4 years ago, I want to say.
Okay.
Just over 4 years ago. Yeah.
What is the scene like up there for the kind of music that you like to play and write?
It's big acts come through pretty frequently, right? So, like, we have a spot in Seattle that I go see. Like, I've seen Jason Boland and the Stragglers there twice. JT's been through here. I saw him. James McMurtry.
Yeah.
So there's definitely a draw for folks, but I'm not one of those folks.
Not yet. Let's say not yet.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, you think about these areas, these regions of the U.S., and you think of Texas, you think of Arizona. I mean, I grew up in Atlanta. Atlanta has a pretty good country scene and music scene. But you think about Washington in that area, yeah, it should have a, especially outlying areas there. You should probably have a really good scene for that kind of music.
Yeah, and well, one of the groups I play with, it's a country cover band. It's more out towards the peninsula, which, if you're familiar over here, is like towards Bremerton, Port Orchard, and whatnot. That's where I would say a majority of all the places we play are out there, and there's it's a good crowd for it. Big an audience for it out there.
Yeah, yeah. People of all walks of life, I think they crave honesty in music, and that's what that kind of music provides. So it doesn't matter where you are. You could be over in Europe or anywhere, and people still want to hear that kind of music. So yeah, it's great.
I mean, heck, they have a dance hall in Seattle called Little Red Hen. That's it's their kind of like line dancing, mecca for, I guess, the state. That's where everybody goes. I've only been there one time, but
that's crazy. Yeah, that's pretty cool. As we're recording this, you are about to be at the release date of your second album, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Tell me, and the thing I noticed about it too is like almost you released your debut album February of last year, so 1 year later that's quick, man. I'm impressed. That's really good. You must either have a nice catalog of tunes you've written, or you stay busy writing songs. That's pretty amazing.
Just stay busy pretty much. Whenever I feel that I've gotten to, I don't know, what'd you say, like kind of like a point, and like where all the songs are they're more closely related to each other. I feel like, okay, this is about the time when I could, think about these ones as far as getting them recorded. There's not too much of a difference. I start listening to something way out. Like right now I'm listening to like a lot of R.L. Burnside. So I'm writing a lot of, kind of that more bluesy type stuff.
Yeah, that's great. And I like that, I was just talking with someone a few days ago about this, that we're kind of in this now releasing singles thing or EPs, and it's so nice to see a body of work come out that tells a story from the first tune to the last tune. I mean, they can all live on their own, but it's nice to see an album that comes along and tells a full story, Yeah, that's awesome.
That's how, forever. That's how I, traditionally have consumed music that way until the last last few years I kind of got lazy, started streaming everything. But that's I
Yeah.
put a CD in, just listen to the whole thing, or
Yeah.
cassettes even way back in the day.
Yeah, I was the same way. Just reading the liner notes and finding out who's playing on this and
Mm-hmm.
doing all that. Yeah, no, I'm with you. Yeah, I would love to hear as you talk about cassettes and CDs. It sounds like you you were very lucky to get to have a have some parents that raised you right with good
Yeah,
music playing in the house, right?
very much so. Yeah, yeah.
Tell
My
me,
mom,
yeah, tell me about that. Tell me about
yeah.
what that was like.
So I mean, I think the first CD I was given was like Hendrix "Are You Experienced" by my dad, which is I think that's pretty cool. Looking
That's
back on that, a very long time ago. But my mom and dad, they both, my mom's, sang in church choirs and things like that. My dad, all he's ever played was the radio. He's not
yeah,
not musically inclined at all. But lots of Dire Straits growing up, lots of ZZ Top, Skinnerd. I think of like a lot of Judd's cassettes.
mm-hmm.
And just I so many darn cassettes that they had. That's how I learned about Charlie Daniels Band. One of the cassettes that I just like destroyed listening to that thing too much.
Man,
There's a Hank Williams Greatest Hits cassette. It's kind of weird for like an 8-year old to be listening to that on a Walkman. But this Merle
that's
Haggard.
pretty cool.
Yeah,
And Merle
Merle.
Haggard.
Yeah, that
Mm,
was a live cassette that he had. It was, I think it's like filmed from the early '80s or something like that. That I listened to that one just nonstop. Broke that one too. So
gosh, Merle. I mean, talk about the total package. I mean, such a honest songwriter, and I just don't think he gets talked enough about how great of a singer he was.
oh,
He was such an incredible singer.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, amazing. You talk about Charlie. One of my best friends was Charlie's keyboard player for the last 7-8 years of his life,
Okay.
and I got to know Charlie a good bit during that time, and he was just an unbelievable person, and what a musician and what an incredible human being he was. Man, he was so good, and yeah, his those albums they there's a lot of complex music going on under the hood of those CDB albums.
Yeah, I saw them with my dad. It was like seemed like it was pretty comparable musicianship. We saw them. It was like a show with Asleep at the Wheel, which
Oh yeah,
those are some no slouches with their instruments themselves.
no,
And I was like, wow, these guys are crazy.
yeah,
I think
they're
the piano
crazy
player at
good.
that time was Taz DeGregorio, I think.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. So when Taz passed away, or when he was killed, my friend Shannon Wickline got the call and went on the road with Charlie, and he was with him until Charlie passed away.
Hmm.
So yeah, it was yeah, Charlie was, man, he was something else. It was really cool. We were like on a first name basis with each other there for
That's awesome.
near the end, and I just loved him to death. Anytime he was in town, we would go and hang out with them, and yeah, it was so good. Were you listening to? Were you just digging the groove and the singing and all that, or were you zeroing in on the songwriting at that point in your life?
I think at that point it must have just been like just the sonically what I'm just tuned into the most. Just
Mm-hmm.
oh, this is really cool. Not yeah. Probably just thinking that the song "Woolly Swamp" was just an interesting
Oh
name for
yeah,
something, or just "Uneasy Rider" seemed like kind of like a funny image to kind of think about as like a kid thinking about things.
yeah, 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 and yeah, I agree. And just there's so much groove going on in those tunes. You that's the thing I think a lot of people miss about like Southern rock, Leonard Skinner, Charlie Daniels, Allman Brothers. There's so many jazz influences in that music, and you can hear that those guys in those bands, they were listening to a lot of different things that was kind of soaking into that music they were writing and playing.
Yeah, it's interesting. So nowadays, I like jazz, right? And I used to love the influences and specifically the Allman Brothers, things of that. But when I've gotten to these cassettes back in the day, this is God knows how many decades ago. Right? I was turned off on Willie Nelson because I thought it was too jazzy. Right?
Right.
And now I'm like,
And
that stuff's awesome.
it's awesome stuff. Yeah, it's great. And yeah, huge. There was so much jazz Willie was listening to as well. Especially I mean, that Stardust album is so good. Hearing him sing all those standards, he knows how to interpret. He knows how to write a great song, but he also knows how to interpret someone else's material really well. So yeah. So after, were you playing instruments as you were growing up? I think I read that you were maybe taking some piano lessons and then picked up guitar.
Yeah, I took piano lessons as a kid. I think it's just one of those things. My mom was like, the kids need to learn, something like this creative. So, my older sisters and I, we all learned piano, and, pianos wasn't really my thing. And the option came up that I could move to guitar, and I was like, oh, this is great. And, I was terrible at guitar for a couple of years, and then finally kind of figured it out.
Yeah, it's, and I'm sure having that foundation with piano and kind of just understanding like the nuts and the bolts of probably a little bit of the music theory propelled you with guitar when you started really digging in on it.
Yeah, certainly it helped. I remember the first guitar instructor I had, he was happy I took piano lessons, and he'd also say, you approach guitar like a piano player. We need to fix that. So I mean, he was an old professional guy, so probably been playing for 30 years at that point or something like that professionally. So
yeah.
Looking over yonder, looking there out beyond the road, stranger wanders over the horizon. Over yonder is where paradise grows. Slowly, there over yonder, drifting there out beyond the road. Boldly rides with hope by his side as light turn the shadow. It's set on arriving where paradise grows.
So I guess after high school, you moved down to College Station, went to A&M, right?
Yeah.
What was the decision to go to Texas?
I was talking with, so I had applied to a couple of different schools and everything, and hadn't decided on where I wanted to go, and was talking with my my neighbor's dad outside checking the mail one morning, and him and his wife both went to A&M, and I was like, oh, you should really think about it. I was like, all right, I guess that's where I'm going to go.
Yeah, I have actually not been to that part of Texas. My son lives in Austin, and but I've heard A&M is an amazing school, amazing campus, huge campus, and yeah. What was that experience like? And were you doing music like from the time you got there, or what was your music path while you were a college student?
Oh, unfortunately, I did not utilize as much time to play music. I didn't. At the time, I complained that I couldn't find anybody to jam with, right? Because a lot of people that I had met, my peers, and everyone just played a few chords and whatnot. And I was like, okay, I don't want to have to be I'm not trying to teach everybody how to play.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I didn't go out to find anybody else. So I kind of squandered that opportunity, I guess, if you look at it that way, because there's no way that out of the 60,000 kids on that campus that I couldn't have found some really talented people to jam with and partner with and do some cool stuff. But no, I really loved going to school there. It was great.
Yeah. Well, and I'm sure being in Texas and being exposed to that whole scene of music, right? I mean, it is unbelievable how many scenes there are in that area. I imagine it also gave you time to absorb this whole new thing that probably made you who you are now as a songwriter? I'm sure it
Oh,
kind of changed the course for you as a songwriter.
yeah, I never thought of, like really, I don't think at the time, like prior to being exposed to all these songwriters, I never thought about like the craft of songwriting or like really paying attention to lyrics. Meant, oh, that's what this song's about, or this is the, the underlying message of this whole thing. Oh, man, there's like a whole world out there that I'm just like, getting hip to at that point.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. I totally agree. And just there's this like dichotomy of complexity and simplicity going on with a lot of those incredible Texas songwriters. I've always been such a fan of the writing of, you mentioned like Todd Snyder. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
oh man, I mean, there's some deep, deep, deep stuff going on there in those tunes of his. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I heard that on one of the radio stations, and it's just some of these people that back in the day I'd have to email the radio and be like, who was playing at 4:04 on a Tuesday, and these were the lyrics I heard, and
Yeah,
just like,
before the days of Shazam and things
yeah,
like that, right?
exactly, and just pray that like, okay, maybe I'll get a response. I don't know.
Yeah, that's it. When you were like playing guitar and doing all that, did you play at all while you were in college, or did you just kind of sit it down while you were there?
Sat it down for the most part. I'd have a guitar laying in the in the living room and pick it up and play on it, but just kind of collected dust and was an ornament more than anything else.
Yeah. So when did you pick it back up, and what was kind of the inspiration to say I'm ready to start
Oh,
doing music again?
this was probably only like 5 or 6 years ago. I want to say probably, yeah.
Okay.
You know, I don't know where the bug came back and got me, but I was like, hey, I think it was more so thinking about, just getting one of those points in life. You're like, okay, I'm doing some things right now I'm not very interested in. What did I used to enjoy that I could possibly pick up nowadays? And I was like, oh, I still love the guitar. It's I want to do this all the time.
Yeah. Was it one of those things that you picked it up and was like, "Oh yeah, I remember how I was doing this," and you kind of the mechanics of it worked, and then I guess I would imagine through a lot of perspective and life experiences is between you when you put it down and picked it up. Did it feel like a different experience for you playing after all that time?
Yeah, it really. I hate to say it this way, but it was a lot more expressive,
Hmm.
and as opposed to just mimicry. I guess you would,
Yeah.
like I was putting myself into it more than just playing the same Stevie Ray licks that I had
Sure.
for.
No, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I imagine you were a much deeper and more experienced human being from the
Hmm.
last time you played, and you probably just came at it from a much deeper level than when you did before. I I spent many years playing music, and when we moved to St. Louis a little over 3 years ago, my wife is from here, so we moved here, and I kind of put it down when we moved, and I will occasionally play. I just played a few weeks ago with some friends of mine when I was back in Georgia, and like you're saying, it just feels completely different now than it did. I think I just come at it from a different place now. I think I play more with my heart now and less with my head like I used to.
Hmm.
Does that make sense?
No, totally. Yeah.
I get what you're saying about that. At that point, were you starting to write songs around then?
Oh, I started writing. So let's see. This kind of is interesting. I started writing. So it's 2026 now. It's probably like just over 3 years ago, right?
Wow, man.
So we were having a conversation one day, and it's kind of like the gist of it was like, oh, it'd be cool to know someone that was like, if we had like a close friend that was like a professional musician, I'm sure that'd be just an interesting person to know. And I was like, oh, if I was to write music, it'd probably be like country music because that's my favorite genre. I love blues, but country music's my favorite. And I don't know what compelled me to say that, and I was thinking about that, and I was like, well, could I actually write country music? I have no idea. I was like, I don't even know if I know how to sing. Right? never like tried that because, well, other than just by myself, right?
Yeah.
So kind of figured all that out and started teaching myself or working on actually singing. And the first idea for a song kind of came up to me, and I was like, all right, well, this is weird. Like, I don't know where the song idea came from, but I'm kind of happy with it.
Yeah. Do you try to, I know some writers will try to write on a schedule or kind of stay in it, or some writers wait until the inspiration hits. Where do you fall in those camps?
Right now, I'm having most success with the inspiration thing.
Okay.
I mean, I'm always writing things down on my phone, or having a voice note if like an interesting melody or an idea that if I type something in my phone, I'd be like, I don't know what this meant, but if I can speak about the idea, it's a little easier for me to understand it. So
Yeah.
I've tried to sit down and work on songs, but I just go nowhere.
Yeah. And
Okay.
that works for some people, and others it needs to be the inspiration thing. But I think the key is, no matter what, and that's what you're doing, is just to keep writing. And they're not all going to be gems, they're not all
Yeah.
going to be hits, they're not all going to be songs that you put on your albums, but just keeping that, sharpening the sword is that's the key to it, is just keep
Mm-hmm.
doing it.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah, that's,
hoping. I'm not sure how many albums I'll make throughout the remainder of my life, however many years that might be. But I hope to at least be able to track some metric of progress through my own artistic development. Like,
yeah.
oh, here, okay, that's where I started figuring out how to do this a little better, or whatever it might be.
Another day, another sunrise. See when worldly troubles can cloudy up my skies. The sun usually shines, but there's a system far off I see. Sometimes I think of you. Do you sometimes think of me? Now I'm watching the storm rolling from the front porch of my mind. Walk around like a free man, but I'm still doing time.
What was the experience like recording your debut album versus the experience of recording your second album?
Oh.
Was was it a much different? I imagine you. I mean, I'm just going to assume here you probably felt way more at ease with the second one than you may have the
Yes.
first one.
Yeah, it was. I was not prepared by how self-confronting the experience of recording the first album would have been.
Mm-hmm.
Like, someone could have told me that, and I'd be like, okay, whatever that means. But when I'm hearing my vocal takes to see if I like those, or trying to decide between things, or trying to decide how parts should be arranged and things like that, I'm like, is this going to be good? I hope.
Yeah. It's so daunting to try to analyze the emotion of the take while also trying to listen to it so critically, and not get so wrapped up in the imperfections of it, which we all seem to do in the studio. It's tough.
Yeah, like I'd be like, man, I don't think I said the word "the" way I wanted to. Like, it's an inconsequential thing, but I'm like, really bugging me for.
Yeah. Where did you record the albums? Did you record both of them in the same studio?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, One Shot Studio. It's in Woodinville, Washington.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
20 minutes from where I am. And I just happened to find that place with an online search because it's like, I don't even know what recording costs. Let me just kind of price that around.
Yeah.
Found a guy like right down the road from me, and the price made sense. I know it's a lot cheaper than most people's albums. So.
Yeah. And it's, you can spend as much money as you want on those projects if you want to. Yeah, it's crazy how much those things can cost. Um, were all the songs on this new album, this Over Yonder? I love the title of that, by the way. I just love that. I saw it and I was like, oh man, that's fantastic. Um, are they all tunes that you had written after
Yeah.
after the debut album? Oh, that's great. That's
Yeah, I
great.
started. I don't remember exactly when I started writing those, but yeah, but it was a couple months after I had finished up everything.
Yeah, that's great. And now as you're getting ready to release it, I know you said you're playing with a band. Tell me about that band and how did that opportunity come your way? I'd love to hear about like what
Oh,
kind of stuff you guys are doing.
yeah. So that band was a Craigslist find, right?
What?
Right. So it's gone through some member changes since when did I start with them? Probably 2 Novembers ago is like when I started playing with these guys or something. But yeah, it's I'm the youngest. Well, nope. I used to be the youngest by like probably 15, 20 years. But in May of last year, we got someone else that's she's only a few years older than I am, so kind of evened up the age gap.
I can tell you from experience, I've been right there with you. I was in a band for about 10 years where I was the youngest guy in the band by about 20 years. And I it was weird, but at the same time, I imagine that you've learned a lot
Oh,
about it's like going to school every time you have a gig,
yes.
just learning about just playing with seasoned people that kind of understand how it works, you know. Has it been like that for you?
It's like going to school every time. It's just
Yeah.
picking up little things. They're like, hey, try this or do this. I'm like, all right. I'm not. They're not just saying it to hear themselves talk. They've been
Mhm.
doing this for decades. I mean,
Yeah.
the bassist, he's 70 years old. He's buddies with the little famous bassist Leland Sklar.
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
He's all
Yeah,
right.
yeah, right. He
Wow.
knows him from way back in the day.
Wow. That's all. That's so I'm a bass player. I started out as a drummer, but started playing bass, and Leland's probably near the top of the list for me as far as just heroes. I mean, so yeah, if this guy's in that realm, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. I got very very lucky in coming across this Craigslist posting. The drummer Keith, he's an amazing drummer. The other singer Nicole, she's an amazing singer. I know she's recorded like a Patsy Cline album before, and she's very like in that style of singing is awesome. Other vocals as well. She's fantastic.
Wow, that's amazing. So what kind of material are you guys doing? Are you doing a lot of like older country stuff?
Yeah, for the most part, mostly older. We just I think the newest song we have would be Ella Langley's "Choosing Texas,"
Mm-hmm.
and that's probably the newest by like a couple of decades.
I play that. Funny enough, that band I was just telling you about, same kind of thing. I mean, we were playing like Merle Haggard and a lot of
Mhm.
Ray Price and just oh man, that music just does something for me that maybe no other music can.
Mhm.
It just does something to my heart when I get to hear it, and it's one thing to do that type of material, but it's also to do it right, to do it
Yes.
justice and to play it with the right feeling. And I imagine if you're getting to play with some seasoned players like that, they know how to play it the right way.
Oh, I just do my best every time we play to make them not sound bad. Like just to try to get on their level. I'm like I have to not to where I'm like psyching myself out about it, but just like knowing that this is the caliber of people that I'm around. I need to make sure I raise myself up to at least try to be where they are.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you having an opportunity to showcase your original tunes either with them or with another outlet? How about
Oh,
your
I
original
go
stuff?
play open mics with my own tunes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, the Barn Cats is the band. It's more of I guess it's like a dance band, right?
Mm-hmm.
So more in I don't know exactly how well my music would transfer over to people that like two stepping and
Right.
line dancing and whatnot. So I haven't tried to be like, hey, I think we should do this because I don't think it's in the it'd be too much it sounded weird. They'd be like, "Why'd you play that song?" Like, yeah.
Well, but I'm glad that you're having some opportunities to let people hear it live too, because I'm sure having listened to your songs, and they sound great recorded, but I'm sure it conveys the meaning and the emotion behind the tune when you're singing it in front of people.
That's what I hoped for. I hope my thought was to have the recordings just kind of be like the standard. Like, okay, this is what
Hmm.
I'm going for. This is the bare minimum to go for. When live, you know, that's minimum. Go above.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Do you find that do you like to write from a place of personal experience, or are you okay with just writing whatever kind of idea comes to you?
Oh, so I've thought about that. I'm like, okay, I try. I try to have like some level of experience or understanding with at least with the subjects I'm writing on.
Yeah.
Not everything is strictly autobiographical,
Mhm.
but I trying to figure out how to write songs. Sometimes I have to put it in that type of frame it that way because I'm still learning the craft of how to properly do things. And I'm like, okay, if I put it in first person, I can kind of figure out how to do this.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's and you're right, the craft. I mean, it's there's a certainly so much craft to that, and you know, you have quite an amazing list of people that are influencing you as a songwriter, and I'm sure that you're taking a lot from years of listening to that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of. I'd love to be like a Guy Clark and be able to write, something that's, stuff that works or whatever. So, yeah, great music out there, but
Yeah. I just think I was always a big fan. I don't know if you've ever listened to much Roger Miller.
yo,
Uh,
yes,
uh,
yeah,
just so much wit and so much humor, yet there could be so much pain underneath the hood of it at the same time. I just think about these guys that just like him or Tom T. Hall or
uh-huh.
just amazing songwriters that could tell a story that seems so simple or so whimsical, but at the same time, there's so much stuff going on with these writers, man. It's amazing.
Yeah, Roger Miller, Tom T. Hall. I mean, those guys were fantastic at what they did.
Fantastic. Yeah, it's unbelievable. Well, what is the next getting this album out? What are you wanting to do as you're seeing yourself 3 to 5 years down the road? What are you wanting to do? Do you like playing gigs with these cover bands? Or how are you wanting to kind of showcase your talents and your music for the
So
masses?
this is the way I'm kind of figuring it, loosely to go for the next, let's say, 3 to 5 years. I'm gonna continue doing, making sure that I'm doing an adequate job of just a solo acoustic player because I've seen people do it well, and when it's done well, I'm like, wow, that's awesome. And I don't want to do some of the ways I've seen it before. I'm like, well, that's kind of take it or leave it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm truly, really going to work on that, just on the solo aspect of things. Try to find some pickup gigs here and there, just however it might work, and then I have a few people I know that provided the incentive is there for them to drop what they might be doing, to if because these are people that do things, this is their source of income, right? So it's kind of hard to draft somebody when they're like, well, what's the return going to be,
Right.
or
Absolutely.
what is the outlook on this, for me
Mm-hmm.
to sacrifice or give up what I'm doing right now to move to something else. Just go play around a lot, and every opportunity that I can get, go out there, just continue meeting people, playing my songs for folks, seeing what
Yeah.
they think about it, always refining, trying to improve where I can.
Do you envision playing the tunes with a band at some point, or do you?
That's the goal. Yes, I
Yeah.
think that would be the most fulfilling for me, and I think that would be probably a better way to represent the music
Mm-hmm.
is give people that experience because I love intimate acoustic performances, but I think when you have a little more involvement, music or instrument wise, you can kind of really gives people something that they're like, oh, that was neat.
Yeah. And there, I mean, I love to hear a singer songwriter that can hold an audience with just them and a guitar.
Yeah,
But sometimes I want to hear somebody's songs and I want to hear a freaking great rhythm section behind them playing,
exactly.
driving the tunes a little bit. And I'm sure it, it frees you up to feel like you can kind of let go a little bit with the tunes if you're not the source of 100% of it right on stage,
Correct.
because
Yeah, I got
you can.
these reinforcements behind me to kind of like,
Yeah,
okay, so I'm not the sole focus on this. I can kind of relax a little bit.
yeah, absolutely. So when is the album releasing?
So that'd be what's Friday, February 6th.
Oh man, it's soon.
Yeah,
It's
what is today? Wednesday, right? A week and a half.
Yeah, a week and a half from now, man. That's awesome. I know you're excited about it. And how long ago did you record it?
I finished that in May or June last
Okay.
year. Yeah, I finished all that. Then the long process of
Mixing and mastering and all that stuff. Yeah.
hearing recordings a billion times and be like, I don't want to hear this ever again.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm sure it's I've heard, a lot of musicians they want to they they release it and then they kind of put it down and then now it's time to keep moving forward and starting on the
Mm-hmm.
next thing. Do you envision kind of keeping this pace of maybe I'm going to release a project every year or so, or what do you think you're going to
That's the
want to
goal.
do?
That's the goal. I'm already starting on the third little project. So
Man, that's awesome. That's really good, man. Well, I'm uh I'm a new fan. I've again, I just appreciate I can hear the influence that of all those amazing performers and songwriters that we've talked about. But at the same time, I love that you have your own unique voice as a songwriter and as a performer, and I love that you are kind of a sum of all those amazing people that you listen to from the time you were a little kid to living in Texas to now moving to Washington. And yeah, I just dig what you do, man, and how you do it.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
It
it's
really means a
really good.
lot.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Well, I just wish you all the best, man. I really hope things go well and you just continue moving up the ladder musically. It's just really, really exciting to hear what you're
Yeah,
doing.
it's a marathon. I'm not trying to sprint anywhere. I'm just
Yeah,
having a great time. I'm enjoying it along the way, meeting cool people and playing with cool people.
yeah. So for my listeners that want to check out what you're doing, tell them where's the best place to go and check out your material and kind of what's going on with you.
Yeah, so pretty much any streaming platform, you'd be able to find me under CJ Hooper. Right now, there's another guy in Australia that has a capital J, so I'm C lowercase J Hooper. Right. And then, yeah, that's pretty much most places. On Instagram, CJ underscore or CJ Hooper underscore music. I got some random videos of me practicing in my truck because that's where I have to practice. So.
That's awesome. That's great. Well, I encourage everyone to go out and check out CJ's music. Like I said, I'm a new fan, really digging it, and man, I just hope things go well and wish you the best, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks so much. I'll let you know when the next album comes out, and I'll
Yes,
send you a link for it.
yeah, we'll do a part two
Oh,
about part three. That we'll
yeah.
do that.
Love that idea.
That's awesome. Well, best of luck to you, man, and just keep writing and performing great music. I really dig it.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah. If you enjoyed this conversation, please follow or subscribe to the Bandwidth Tapes wherever you listen, and consider leaving a rating or review. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.